Okay, so let's just start it from here.
The problem of an entire generation that has economic resentment. They don't own anything. They're not getting married. They're not having children. They're depressed. They're anxious. They're staring at their screens all day long. And if all of a sudden your extrapolation of all that is, well, it's the Jews' fault, that is sloppy and shallow thinking. And not only that, they say, oh, it's the Jews' fault.
So, okay. So what he's doing there is it's really tough because he is tapping into something legitimate, and I hope this doesn't work with his audience. I don't think it will because it doesn't come from an authentic place like it does with other people. Um, like people who are truly trying to help young men. It almost feels like he's just naming these things off because this is what he sees young men complaining about and young men's kind of concerns and anxieties being on the internet. So he's finding a way to kind of take those anxieties and then shift them and make them like pro-Jewish. So like, you know, you don't own a house and you're also, talking about Israel and Jewish influence and stuff. But hey, before you get crazy with that, do not blame anyone for that. Do not blame anyone at all. And it's just kind of silly because I don't know anybody. I'm being like, I know there is the meme of people who defend Israel and defend Jews and stuff like that. That is a meme of theirs. They say that you could slip on a banana peel and blame a Jew. It's like, okay, but I don't know anybody actually doing that. They're always that any post like that on Twitter where somebody is blaming a Jewish person for something like the rise of pornography or, something like that. It's not just coming from a random place. There is usually, some research they did. There's usually some like, well, this person is Jewish and they are responsible for this. It's not just on a whim that they're doing this. So, insofar as that's a thing, I don't really think people are doing this randomly. Like, I don't think that, when somebody gets in a car accident, they're like, that was the Jews' fault. Like, I don't really see that happening. And I think a lot of the concerns that people have are warranted. Like, what would he say to something? I mean, this is a point Nick brought up. What would he say to something like, why else are we in Iran other than for Israel? Is that a legitimate point to bring up and say that that's a situation where we are in a worse situation because of them? Like, what situation would he say, okay, now that part you're right about? Because in his mind, it's like they're responsible for nothing negative, only positives. But I'd be curious, like, what scenario is there where he would say, okay, now that is legitimate, that is their fault? I don't really think there is anything. I think his donors are, I mean, you can tell this by how he talks. His donors have told him what to say on this topic, and he's not gonna move or budge on that issue at all. So, you know, to say that they're at fault for nothing is just as ridiculous as saying they're at fault for everything.